There it is. What's going on, my friend?
Not much. Busy, busy. How about you? Yeah,
It has been busy, and for me with the business, that's a good thing. But it's been taking away hobby time for sure. But it has been really good, really busy. So I've been blessed with that. You're trying to dig myself out of the hole, but it's been taking a lot of time. So I'm glad we were able to finally carve out this this little bit of time here because it's been
absolutely.
crazy. But this is Ball Card Banter number 8. It is just me and Shane, as per usual. I think we have a guest lined up for next time. Shane will have to confirm. I think he is semi-confirmed, but a good buddy of ours hopefully will come on and talk about some stuff with us. But this one we had planned out, so it is October baseball time, and neither of our teams are in it, but we're just enjoying kind of sitting back and watching what unfolds, and be interesting to see, how all these teams do it. Milwaukee and a lot of teams that have done really well this year, and just see, where it goes, if it's going to be one of the usuals or not.
That's it.
So,
We're
but we
barely
figured
past the wild card, and it's been entertaining already. So
it's been entertaining and some really good stout pitching too. So, but yeah, I mean, we figured we would do an October type of episode here where we talk about and show some cards of some people that have excelled in certain Octobers, and we're only doing 5 of those, so it was really hard to narrow down. We're obviously leaving tons of people out if we're getting to 5 cards of different people, but I don't know how much overlap we'll have on that stuff, but it's a fun thing since October baseball. For a baseball fan, this is just the greatest time of the year. Hopefully, I'll have some good weather start soon because it's still 100 around here. So
oof. It's
we
been warm here too, actually, in the 80s, which is really abnormal for this time of year. So
yeah, we need the fall weather to kick in, but at least fall baseball has kicked in. So that's what we're doing. But we always like to start with a shout out for a channel. And why don't you kick us off with who you got in mind here?
yeah, so we were joking before we get started here, but my memory's getting worse by the week. So I don't know. I don't think I've shouted him out before. I certainly have on my own channel, but I'm going to shout out my buddy Jason over at Contrarian Cards here on YouTube. Great channel. He actually just kicked off his annual countdown that he does of the top 100 cards in his collection, which I love. Really varied. He loves baseball cards, but he also gets into non-sports and vintage non-sports and all kinds of other subject matter, but really very analytical collector. And whenever I watch his content, it just gets my gears spinning and makes me think about my own collection and my own approach to the hobby. So highly recommend Jason over at Contrarian Cards.
Is it just at Contrarian Cards?
At Contrarian Cards. Yep.
Okay. I'll put the links in the description after for all this stuff. But okay, cool. That sounds like an awesome one. This one is a brand new guy to me, and it's only because he did a VR. But he did it after the fact, knowing he wasn't going to win anything. So I thought that was kind of cool. He's just doing it and telling his story, which is awesome. But it's Hughes over at ET Card Collector. Now it has nothing to do with ET that I know of. It is baseball cards, but it's ET underscore card collector with no E between the last T and R. So I'll leave a link. It's another one of those tough titles to track down if you don't have a direct link. But Hughes seems like a really good dude. Made a really cool VR. So I think he has like 62 subs, something like that. Fairly newer channel, but it looks like he has done some videos for a few months. But it was the first I knew of him because there's just so many people out there.
Sure.
But when the VR popped up, of course, I checked it out, and it was cool, and it seems like a really really good dude. I think he must live in the Dallas area. I think he's a Nolan Ryan guy. Just kind of
Great.
perusing his stuff that I haven't seen yet. But yeah, shout out to Hughes at ET Card Collector, and then Contrarian Cards. Go sub them up, check them out, all that kind of stuff. All right, so we got 5 cards of some fellas that we know have performed well in October. But before we get to that, I'm putting you on the spot. So,
Oh boy. All right. Okay.
so we know you have completed the Franken set, and that was huge. Of course, you got 2,000 views, so congrats on that. That's a huge video. You've been getting 400 or 500 views on everything. I mean, it's just been awesome lately. But that was a big monumental thing in your collecting life. I mean, like 10 years,
Absolutely.
10 years to complete something is giant. So that is a huge moment. But is there another moment in the hobby that you would consider one of your favorite moments? It could be a childhood thing, could be just a whatever.
So I can think of two others, and I'm glad you asked this because I intended to do a VR for you, and I just ran out of time. So I have given this some thought, actually.
I was just curious. I'm like, I gotta ask him.
One of them was back in the fall of 2007, and I'll keep this short because I've told this story before, but I pulled the Jacoby Ellsbury like super, super short print card out of 2007 Topps Update. And this is when I just got back into the hobby, was still kind of feeling my way around, figuring things out. I had quit for over 10 years, going through high school and college, like many, same story here all the time. And that card, especially being a Red Sox fan in New England, hitting that card, it was like the Willy Wonka golden ticket moment. And it's appropriate for this episode too, because it was in the fall. It was the Topps Update set, and the Red Sox ended up going all the way to the World Series and winning it that year as well. And he was like an instrumental part of that team too. So it's actually a perfect tie-in for this episode. And I swear I did not know Brent was going to ask me this, but so that one would be up there. And then the other one I would say that really sticks out in my mind is just sitting around my parents' kitchen table in like the winter of 1990, just opening packs with my two brothers. My dad would bring us packs home after work. If we behaved or got good grades or whatever, he'd, give us a couple packs of hockey cards or baseball cards, and we would take our 3-ring binders out with our pages in them and open the cards, read the backs, trade with each other. And that's like, to me, that's really what the hobby's all about, is like family and memories and nostalgia. And so I can, like, in my mind, I can take myself right back to my parents' kitchen table that winter, just opening packs. And that really was like the catalyst that kind of got me into the hobby, and the reason I'm still in it 35 years later.
Yeah, yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I just, and you know me, I'm a sentimental fool. So, but a lot of these stories people have told along those lines, it's just been so heartwarming. I just love that kind of stuff. There's so many great stories from people that we wouldn't know if we hadn't put on, a silly contest on YouTube. So
That VR
super
was
cool.
fantastic. And I love that you read all the email responses too, because some of those were just so touching, and it gets the exposure to people who maybe don't put themselves out there and have a channel, but they still have, meaningful collecting stories to share. So I love that you accept email submissions too.
Well, I appreciate that, and that's why I did it. And I was kind of glad it was small, because if there would, let's say there would have been 25 emails, I would have had to pick and choose. So
Right.
since we had the 5, I'm like, I'm just going to read them all. Let's get those stories out there. Everybody else can watch the VRs, which, man, there was some insane VRs. But yeah, the emails were just blowing me away. Really touching stories. Just it's amazing. We've talked about it before, but it's amazing how the hobby can bring people together and really make some meaningful moments that aren't just about cardboard.
That's it. And
It's
those contests expand the community too. I mean, just 5 minutes ago, you revealed the name of a channel that I've never heard before that I'm going to go subscribe to
yeah.
when we wrap up tonight. And I would have never known about that if you hadn't done the VR. So
Yeah, same here. So I just that's the best part about it. I mean, the kind of channel I am, just a collector channel, is never going to be giant. But if you can make it meaningful enough, and the people that you do interact with is a great enough thing, then it's worth doing. So yeah, that was awesome. But okay, I'm glad. I just had to ask you. I just was curious about your story, and I remember, because see, we've talked about it before, but the 10 years we had back to back. So it's '07 was kind of the last year for me for 10 years. So
sure.
Jacoby was like one of the biggest national rookies you're going for in Bowman Chrome, which is what I was collecting at the time. And then and then Sterling, all this crazy stuff started coming out, but yeah, that was kind of the end of my collecting for 10 years. And it was kind of you're getting back in kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, he was a big deal everywhere. And just the fact that he was on your team and you pulled it, it's crazy.
Mind blowing moment. I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong about this. I'm pretty sure it was on like the Beckett hot list at the time, because they did that back then. It was like the card everybody was searching for. So cool moment.
Yeah, there's been so many moments down over the years. I mean, obviously going to the shops with my dad, that Midnight Madness deal was like, I'll never forget it. It just, who opens up a card shop from midnight to 2 with coffee and donuts and, awesome huge sales on everything in the store. Just like it blew my mind as a kid. And being a country kid and going into town and doing all that kind of stuff it was such a unique experience. There's so many good hobby moments over the years, and the ones that are tied around family, especially when we were younger, just super super awesome. But All right, so we got five. We got five cards of guys that have performed fairly darn well in October. Why don't you start us out with your first one?
All right, so this one's gonna sting a little bit. I figure I'm just gonna give it to you. It'll be like ripping off a band-aid, and then the rest of these will be harmless after this. But chose the 2020
Yes,
World
yes,
Series card of Juan Soto, and this represents, of course, the 2019 World Series where he and the Nationals won their first ever championship. I just think this is cool. With apologies to Astros fans and to you, Brent. I did enjoy this World Series. He was a monster in this series. I
he
think he hit
was.
3 home runs. His birthday actually occurred during this World Series. So he was 20 when it started, and he was 21 by the time that they won the championship. And this is the actual World Series subset card from the following year, Topps release, and it's been autographed and authenticated by Juan. So he's just one of my favorite modern players. I think, Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge have kind of taken over as being like the behemoths of the hobby. But I think Soto is just, he quietly goes about his business. Even this past year, another 40 home run, 100 RBI season. He actually led the National League in stolen bases this year, which I don't think anybody had that on their punch card coming into the season. So,
Nope.
yeah, first year with New York and had a really great season. And as a 20-year-old, on the world's biggest stage, at least as far as baseball goes, the amount of pressure that he must have been under at that age to rise to the occasion and club 3 home runs and win the title. I think it's a special card for that reason.
Yeah, yeah, and at least Mookie has something to hang his hat on this last year because that that collapse was no good this year for him. But Soto gave him something to cheer for, so that was cool. But yeah, that World Series hurt because we had maybe the best team of our 8-year run was that year, and they
Right.
came out of nowhere. They didn't have a great year, but they came out of nowhere and just mowed through the playoffs. And of course, I was there sulking as that all went down, but it's okay. We got back and got it done in 22, but it took a little bit.
That's that's what's cool about the playoffs, though. All you got to do is get a ticket, punch your ticket, and get in. And if you get hot at the right time, you could be the underdog and you could beat the best team out there. So
That's what's interesting about this, with the three wild cards and everything else. It really could be just whoever gets hot, whoever has the best pitching on that short series. I think 7-game series proved themselves out a little bit more than the other ones, but yeah,
sure.
whoever's hot, and you know how it is, it's infectious. Hitting is infectious. That's the way baseball is. So you never know. You really don't know who's going to win. I mean, like the Reds sweeping the A's back in '90.
Right.
I mean, that was impossible.
Never
and
would have
they
predicted that. Yep.
no, and they did it. So yeah. Okay, so my first one, um, and I think it's the only pitcher on my. Yeah, it's the only pitcher on mine, but I had to have one. But if you're going to talk World Series pitchers, you got to start with Whitey Ford. Um, so he had 10 wins, which leads 146 innings, 2.71 ERA. He had 8 starting game 1 starts. So I mean, these records won't be broken. just
Nope.
It's just insanity, man. And he won 6 titles, but he was the guy, on the team. So it was just awesome. But this is a stadium club, members only. Now we know that these rainbow foil boards are numbered to 25. This members only on this particular year. Um, this thing was only 7 copies made, so it's one of the real scarce ones. But
What
yeah,
an
I just
image,
I
too.
just love the image on this. Is why I got it. And then when the members only came up, and I'm like, man, there's only 7 of these things. It's like, but once again, with Stadium Club, if you want the image and you just want a beautiful card of this guy, you can go buy the base ones, no problem. But to get the one that's just impossible to find was really cool. But
That
yeah,
is beautiful.
Mr. World Series pitcher. Those records will just never be broken.
Look at those stirrups.
I
Yep.
know, man.
Classic.
That's the way baseball was supposed to be, right there, right there. But I love this follow. So you don't normally see this view of him for whatever
No.
reason. So super cool card, Whitey Ford. There's the back. A little more classic pose there. But
Those parallels are tough even now, but in the early era of those, like you said, print
yeah,
run of 7, those things are unicorns. Yeah.
yeah. and they're not numbered, so we have to get the print run. Now that we have all these online ways to find things, we would have never known. But you wouldn't have pulled that card. I mean,
Right.
you weren't going to pull that card. All right, number 2.
All right, so I'm a big fan and collector of the home run in general. So obviously, big World Series home runs are a part of my collection as well. So I got this one here. This is the 1960 Topps Bill Mazeroski, and this just like the Juan Soto, kind of a common theme here. This is an in-person or through the mail autograph that's been authenticated. Just love the look of this card. A classic pose there with chewing tobacco in his mouth, and of course, the reason I chose this and the reason I have this in my collection, 1960 was the most notable season of his life. Game 7 of that World Series against the Yankees, and Whitey Ford kind of links together nicely there. Hit that improbable home run to win it. First walk-off home run in World Series history, and definitely I would assume the highlight of his career. The Yankees, again, just kind of the underdog theme that we touched on a moment ago. Like, they were heavily favored going into this World Series, and they really outperformed the Pirates. I'd have to double check, but I think they scored like twice as many runs as Pittsburgh in the 1960 World Series, and the Pirates still won. And that's why you play the games. I think it was the most runs scored by a losing team in World Series history. And if it wasn't for that one swing of the bat by Mazeroski, it may have ended differently. Who knows? It was Game 7. Anything could have happened. And just one of those memorable baseball moments that everybody thinks of when they think of October baseball and World Series play. So.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly right. And I almost put my Mazeroski autograph in here, but I didn't. So that's good. Mine's a shiny one though. It's a little different than your real one. But I did pick a home run. Because of you, I switched from Mazeroski to this one. But this is that 2018 Panini Black Friday set that I just think is one of the most incredible ever. These are numbered to 199 here. But 1975, the year I was born, so obviously I didn't get to see this, but we've all seen waving the home run foul fair. But that card there with Fisk coming in to the plate, everybody mobbing him. It's just an awesome shot.
That is killer.
Instead of going with Mazeroski, I went with Fisk since we got the Red Sox thing going on. But yeah, that's just such a cool card. Just
one of the best moments in Boston sports history, right there.
Yeah, right there. And did that force the Game 7, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that was
ultimately they lost, but in that moment, yeah, just unbelievable.
It was just a big deal. And if he hadn't, swung his arms like that, it wouldn't be as memorable. It's just a crazy moment,
That's a really unique shot too. Usually you see the photos of him waving the ball, or that's a really cool shot. I don't think I've seen that on other cards.
I've never seen it, and when I saw this, of course, I try to collect most of these. But yeah, that's just an awesome one. Awesome, October moment, and just an awesome card. So that's my number 2.
All right, I feel like I say this every episode, but we did not share any of these cards ahead of time, but this is kind of working out sequentially here. So we'll go from, Mazeroski in 1960 to Carlton Fisk in 75. And then in 1993, you had, of course, Joe Carter. And this is the Stadium Club Chrome. This is a blue refractor, which is a nice, team color match. But I've developed like a small little collection of 93 Joe Carter cards just around the home run. It wasn't Game 7 like Mazeroski, it was Game 6, but it was still a home run that ended the World Series. I think it was the first one since Mazeroski, the first World Series walk-off. And I love this shot of just like the jubilation and excitement right in the moment or right after the moment. And to me, it's like when you were playing Little League or backyard baseball, this was like the exact moment in time that like every kid fantasized about. And Joe Carter actually got to live that out on live TV in front of the whole nation and the whole world. So I think this is a really special card. It's not a valuable card. You can get all kinds of, being Stadium Club, you can get all kinds of different parallels. This one happens to be numbered to 199, but I really just chose it because of the blue color match. And it's like a $5 card, but like to me, this is as good as baseball cards get. Just a meaningful photo and a great moment in October baseball history.
It was one of the best for me, and as you know, it's just one of the greatest times. I've talked about it many, many times, but I had predicted both those World Series with my friends. And we just, I mean, I watched every pitch of all that, and it was
Right.
just, and when I did that one going back home video a long time ago, where I went back to where I used to be when I was starting that's the house that I was sitting in the living room, doing all that, and so that was one of the greatest times ever. And of course, when he hit that thing, it was just, of course, him and Maz are the only ones ever. So
I feel
just
like in our lifetime, if in any way as a fan, the time that we've been alive enjoying the game, if you take fandom of your local team out of it, just
yeah,
purely watching the
yeah.
game, it's probably the most exciting single moment that's happened in the World Series. So
Exactly. And since I kind of adopted that team and made the flag, I was waving around and just, it was my team for a couple of years, and it was just amazing. So, and of course you teed me up perfectly. I kind of thought you would do that, so I went the other way. I went for the MVP, who was he's still one of my favorite players of all time. And this is one of the best sets of all time. I still haven't done my video on this set, but to me, this is the best laid out baseball card set of all time. And that's the 1994 Fleer Team Leaders. But Paul Molitor, MVP of that World Series, he hit 500. 500. He was the first player ever to have 2 home runs, 2 doubles, and 2 triples in a World Series. So all the extra base hits, he did it twice. He had 12 hits. He went 12 for 24, had 7 RBIs, World Series MVP. Just insane, insane series going back and forth with nails. On the other side, it will always be my favorite World Series. It just even if Joe Carter hadn't done that, just the 15-14 game,
right.
my favorite game of all time. And of course, it ended on a Blue Jays win. But Paul Molitor just absolutely kicked butt in that series. This card is super beautiful. But I love, love, love this
Nice.
set. I think they just did a perfect job putting the team logo in the background. You got an action shot. You got an awesome portrait. Got some foiled, with the information at the bottom. It's just an
Beautiful
absolute
blue
beautiful.
background too. Yeah, just
All of them are color matches. They're all just spectacular. But Paul Molitor was the guy. He just absolutely crushed it in that World Series. Deserved MVP. Just unbelievable the way he played that whole time. Just setting records. Just was so, so awesome. So that World Series is my favorite. I kind of had a feeling you might have a Joe Carter. So, and I've got plenty of both of these guys, but this card is so beautiful. I'm just like, you know what? Let's pull it out. But and of course, this is a '94 card. That was the '93 World Series. So this was it. And just
It's fun to think about with the way the hobby is now. Can you imagine if somebody went 12 for 24 in the World Series this year, what their card prices would be doing? Everybody would be
dude,
going bananas.
and two triples, 2 homers, 2 doubles. I mean, yeah, it would be awesome. But that guy, he was already one of my favorite players. He became right up there at the top at that point. It was just unbelievable what he did. It was so, so fun.
I'm glad you picked another Blue Jay because those teams were so stacked with just
Dude,
stars and Hall of Famers. I mean,
dude,
they were almost like all-star teams. It was insane.
they had 9 All-Stars. You know, people were like blaming Cito Gaston, but I mean they deserved every single spot. It was like it was a super team. It really was. But as we've talked about with the underdog thing, they actually pulled it off like they were supposed to. So yeah,
Right.
it was awesome. What a series! It was awesome. But that was number 3 for me.
Okay, so my number 4 card. This kind of goes back to you asking me about favorite hobby moments and nostalgia, and this is a cool one from 2019 Topps. This is the Sweet Victory card. So this is the Red Sox, or commemorates the Red Sox 2018 World Series championship.
Okay.
And this is their most recent, and looks like probably their last for a little while here anyway, with the way the team is rebuilding here. So for me as a Red Sox fan, and this is during the era where I was still like a rabid Red Sox fan, going to like
Yeah.
multiple games every year at Fenway, watching almost every game on TV, just completely obsessed with the team. And yeah, they won it all. And then there's a special connection for me in this card, which I've talked about before. But during this World Series, I was on the road for most of it on a work trip. And I remember I would stay up late and watch the games in the hotel because they were playing the Dodgers. So some of the games were on at 10 p.m. local time here, and they'd go till 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. And I'd stay up watching those games, texting back and forth with my younger brother. And he was one of one of my 2 younger brothers that I just referenced in my memory there of sitting at my parents' kitchen table, opening packs way back in the day. And he was my buddy when it comes to talking sports. We would always be texting back and forth and cards. And sadly, just a few days after this World Series ended, he passed away unexpectedly. So this was like the last great sports moment that he and I shared together. And for that to happen, for our favorite team right towards the end of his life, just kind of serendipitously, it was just, in retrospect, it was really, really special. And so I really prize this card in particular, just because it shows the moment of the final out of that World Series. And I just remember all the excitement and thrill of them winning what was, I think, their 4th World Series in like a 15-year span. So unlikely that I'll ever see anything like that again as a fan in terms of just a period of dominance over a decade or 2 like that. But this one is the Topps Black parallel, which I'm a big fan of. If you've seen my channel at all, really enjoy collecting these. They're pretty tough to track down. So the Topps Black 2019 Sweet Victory card is my 4th choice.
Yeah, that's a good one. And of course, the story that goes with it. Once again, just tying things to meaningful family stuff and all that was just, yeah.
Yeah,
you
to
got one.
have meaningful family nostalgia and your favorite team winning it all kind of wrapped up into one card. It's like hobby perfection. If I had to sell my collection and keep like 10 cards, that would be one, even though it's probably a $10 card. So
Yeah. I mean, you got to have one just fantastic memory together. Just a bittersweet thing for sure, but just super awesome that y'all got to share that.
exactly.
Okay. How can you do anything October without Mr. October? But like with tickets, I still, one of the tickets I want to own is a ticket to that game in the World Series where he hit 3 home runs in 3 pitches. I've looked at so many of them, a lot of them with inscriptions and signatures and all that kind of stuff. They get pretty pricey
I bet.
when you find the one that you really want. It's like, I can't quite pull the trigger on it, but it's one of the ones that I gotta have at some point. But Mr. October, of course, started right there with the Yankees. This is an SP Legendary Cuts. This is a gold, so it's numbered to 99, unlike the regular one. The regular one looks very similar. But at the bottom, it does say 1977 Yankees, Mr. October hits 3 home runs and 3 swings. But it's a very cool card. But you don't see the gold to 99 come up much. You kind of see the regular one mostly. But very, very cool looking card with the Yankees symbol here and all this. Once again, I think Upper Deck was just so awesome.
100%.
I wish we still had Upper Deck baseball cards, but it's a rainbow foil kind of a background and then all this cool stuff. So he was, in the 1970s is what it's talking about here, but it spells that out right there, which is super cool because that was the moment. He was already a legend, but that just cemented everything right there. 3 swings in the World Series game, just totally awesome. But yeah, can't talk about October without him. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
The amount of incredible cards that Upper Deck made in their 20-year run definitely makes you miss them. That kind of foil work and attention to detail, you just rarely, if ever, see it nowadays.
Dude, that Mantle and Maris I showed the other day, those are like $4. I mean, in today's money, I mean, you can buy them. It's just, but they look unbelievable.
You have been responsible for me buying many sub $5 Upper Deck baseball cards over the last couple of years.
They're fantastic and they're just so cheap, but they're awesome cards. You can't pull those kind of cards out of packs now. Everything's flat and chrome or whatever. It's just there's nothing at all like those. I think it would cost too much to make those now, so they just don't do it. But so you got one left?
Yeah, and I have to thank you because when you suggested this idea for the episode, it kind of got me thinking of what I wanted to choose. And I ended up picking up a card specifically for this episode. And I can't imagine why I never owned this before. It's like the absolute perfect card for my collection. And I wouldn't own it if we weren't doing this ball card banter. So I definitely owe you a thank you for this one. And it's a nice tie to the card I just showed. But 2018 was their most recent World Series championship, but of course the one that I have the fondest memories of a fan was 2004 when they finally broke the curse. And in the 2005 Topps release, there is literally a card that is dedicated to the Red Sox breaking the curse. The curse is broken. This is the Game 4 2004 World Series subset card in 2005 Topps. I think it's actually the last card maybe on the checklist or towards the end of the checklist. And I went out and found this. This is once again the Topps Black parallel, which was numbered to just 54 back in 2004. And this is like a card where it's almost inexcusable that I didn't own it already. I never really thought about it. But when you brought this topic up, it just got me thinking. I wonder what's out there on cardboard to represent that breaking of the curse. And when I found this Topps Black, I almost fell off my chair. It was like $25, just smashed by it now, and instantly became like one of the most meaningful cards in my collection. At the time in 2004, I was living in Massachusetts. My wife and I were renting an apartment there while we were saving for our house in Rhode Island. And I still remember like the final out of that World Series and just hearing like the car horns everywhere and everybody yelling and screaming. And it was crazy. After, 8 decades or more, of just cursed teams and growing up hearing about Bucky Dent and, Bill Buckner and all the other tragedies of Red Sox Nation, for them to finally get it done. That was just, as a sports fan, that was a definite highlight moment for me. And I just think it's really cool that Topps put a card out there to commemorate that exact moment in time.
Dude, and it got one of the only 54 copies out there.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool just to have the Topps Black of, the curse breaking game and then the most recent championship. They just really fit well together. So yeah, like I said, it was almost inexcusable that I hadn't tracked that one down before. So I definitely have to thank you for coming up with the concept for the episode. Made my collection better for it. So
nice. Yeah, you got to have that card.
Essential. Yep.
Yeah, but the fashion that y'all did it in that year with the 4 straight. I mean, I'll never forget it. I was on the other side rooting for the Yankees. The third game, was 15-6 or whatever.
Brutal.
My nephew had just been born, and his dad, my brother-in-law, just needed a break or whatever. Needed to get out of the hospital, so we went to a Chili's or something. I forget, but we sat at the bar and ate something and watched the end of the 15-6 whatever game. It was the third game. They were just crushing, and I just thought it was over. And then after that, 4 straight, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. The whole cowboy up. I mean, everything was just.
That team had so many great personalities, and
it was a miracle.
The championship series, like you referred to, was so good that the World Series was almost anticlimactic after that.
It was almost like you already won at that point.
That's it.
It was like it just seemed inevitable as soon as y'all came back against them, and then and of course it all worked out. But the curse was broken, and that was a big deal. But yeah, you needed that card for sure, man. It was like. That's too perfect. I didn't even know it existed. So I mean, I'm sure something existed, but yeah. And of course, to find one of the 54 black ones
couldn't have worked out better.
Okay, my last one has to be the ultimate World Series guy ever. On the other side of the ball, not Whitey Ford, but Mickey Mantle. I mean, 18 World Series home runs. it's just insane. 26 extra base hits, 123 total bases just in the World Series, 43 walks in the World Series. All of those are records that still stand, just insane. Of course, all the championships, just craziness. But this card is so beautiful. I went ahead and chose this one. These are numbered to 219, but this is a Topps tribute from 2009, I believe. But that's the back, but they're numbered up here. But this is the blue. It's just, to me, with the Yankees and everything, it's just so beautiful. The shine on these is just so good. Holding the bats, beautiful smile. The Mick himself. So this isn't some super valuable card or anything crazy with Mickey Mantle, but to me, it's as good as it gets visually. Just
love that. That's awesome. Again, that's another image I don't recall having seen really on any other cards.
Yeah, it's not overdone. You know what I mean? So it's just a great smile, and these blues with the blue background, and the way they did these, just so classy. Everything's minimal, but just really nice gold. I just love this card. Gave me an excuse to pull it out again. Could have gone with a bunch of different cards, but this one here just said he's the man.
$1 million smile right there. Yeah.
$1 million smile. 18 home runs in the World Series. Just like Whitey Ford. I mean, they just stepped up on the biggest stage, constantly.
Right.
It's insane that a team could win that much to begin with, but he was it, man. So him and Reggie, and I mean, some of these guys just when the lights are bright, some people just fade, and then some people just dominate. So it's just I had to make him my last one of those for sure.
The 2025 version of the Yankees could use a little of that Reggie and Mickey mojo.
Yeah, they need some mojo, and Judge needs to be able to step up. But that's just the thing. Until you play the games, you just don't ever know.
Right.
It's just so crazy. You don't ever know. But that is it for our 5 October awesome players in different eras there, which worked out perfectly. We teed each other up on some of that stuff.
As usual. Yep.
As usual. Okay, now Immaculate Grid time. So I picked an old one that I wouldn't remember, and I don't think I ever played this one, that kind of thing. I didn't pick a recent one. But there's no teams on this one, so it's much easier than the normal ones. But this is the one we're going to do.
All right.
So the idea on these will all be, if we were just going for Immaculate, we could just get this instantly. But to try to come up with the ones that are good. So what we're going to do on this one, guys, since we don't have 3 guys, so it's just going to be me and Shane teaming up, trying to get a good score here, and then you guys can play against us. Obviously, we have a slight disadvantage because we don't have a lot of time. I mean, we don't have all day to think about this and all that kind of stuff. But 300 career average, which is much more rare than you think. It's really hard with only one team. That's the first square.
Man.
The second one is less than a 3 career ERA, which is another really tough thing. Only one team. Then you got 300 homers career, only one team, which is really easy, but you
Right.
got to pick. It's like
Trying to get just over 300. Yep.
yeah, I think. And then the next column is Hall of Fame. So the same 300 average career, less than 3 ERA, 300 homers in the Hall of Fame, which changes that a little bit. So that's those 3 squares. And then the 300 career average, less than 3 ERA, 300 home runs, just born in America, period. So just that's it for the last 3. I think I know for Hall of Fame, less than 3 ERA, I think Pud Galvin. And I just happen to know that
That is super obscure, so I like that choice.
That's just got to be a good choice for that one. So I hope I'm right on this. And of course, if you miss one, it adds like 100 points, so you're screwed. Okay, there we go, 0.5%. So we got one.
All right, coming out swinging.
Yes, the 300 average career one team. There's one that my guy Keith uses a lot because he tries to do all of his in Yankees. So
really? That's an interesting wrinkle. Yep.
Yeah.
I thought of these are obvious, but the first ones that popped up to me were like George Brett or Rod Carew, but those are probably some of the first ones anybody would think of.
I was thinking Ted Williams.
That's a good one.
DiMaggio. There's some of those legends, but the one I think would work for this, I know for sure it was over 300 averages, Earl Combs. And I know he's a Yankee, career Yankee, but you had to have only played for the Yankees for that to work here. But I think it is correct. And if that
is a much higher scoring choice than Rod Carew, so let's go with that.
And yes, I got to give him credit, and that's why I'm giving him credit, but we got to come on. Earl with an E at the end, Combs. Yes, 0.4. Okay.
Holy
so the two obscure ones that I pulled out, those worked out. The rest of it we got to kind of work out. So
thanks to Keith.
We're giving
Keith must
credit.
Be nice to cheer for a team where you can fill out the grid every single time because they've done it all.
He almost does every time. But the thing is, he's a risk taker, so he misses a lot because he wants the low. He would rather try for the low score and miss than try for complete. But I'll take credit for Pud Galvin because that's a crazy thing. But we'll give him credit for Earl Combs because I wouldn't have known it if he hadn't used it in a grid. But less than 3 ERA, only one team.
Oof. Bob Gibson, that's pretty obvious, maybe.
That's a if we yeah, we're not going to miss with that one
Nope.
for sure. I will say Whitey Ford is usually a pretty good answer on this grid for whatever reason. You would think,
I would
like
assume he'd be under 3 for his career. You'd
yeah,
think.
yeah, and for some reason he gets overlooked with a lot of these things.
Let's roll with
But
that. Stick with the Yankees theme.
let's
You know.
stick with it. We could think all day and come up with all kinds of stuff, but since we're limited slightly, okay, 4%. So we're not doing terrible there. I mean,
For me, that's a good answer.
for Hall of Famer, that's 300 career home runs, only one team. Obviously, for me, Jeff Bagwell is pretty. It's a pretty good one. So many people had that one team at the end of their career or something that.
Yeah, exactly. Almost everybody I'm thinking of, other than like 500 home run guys, which are not going to be good answers.
I guess you got Clemente.
Yeah, did he have 300 home runs? Yeah, I guess he would have. Maybe.
See, I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
I would have thought. And of course, we can't go with Lou Gehrig or someone like that, but
Willie Stargell?
that
That might be a good one.
might be a good one.
Yeah, I'm thinking of so many guys like that are just so obvious that are going to score high. You know.
I know
Ted
the one
Williams
team. The
and
one team thing is so rare, even for the Hall of Famers. I mean,
Harmon Killebrew.
that's got to be a pretty good one. He goes overlooked.
Yeah. He's definitely got over 300. I'm sure of that. I think he's in the 500 club.
He's a 500. He's way up there in the 500s.
Ernie Banks, same thing, but he's probably going to be more selected.
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, Killebrew or Bagwell is probably the lowest answers of the ones we are talking about. But you're right. You're right about Stargell.
I feel like he would have got to 300.
Yeah, he definitely was only with the Pirates, right?
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, I think so.
Man, let's go with your Killebrew.
That works.
Killer doesn't get enough love either. So. Oh. He played for a different team.
Oh, I wonder if it's the Senators Twins thing, or
he went somewhere.
Or
so that just added 100.
Yeah. Just tanked the score right there. Should have gone Stargell or Bagwell.
Yeah, those would have worked. 300 average career Hall of Fame. Now, I know Mantle ended up like 298 or something, so it's crazy the people that
famously.
It's crazy the people that didn't do 300. And we've already got our Earl Combs answers, so we can't put him in there. There's a lot of easy ones, but they're all easy. So
yeah, that's the problem. My brain always goes to the high scoring superstars.
I mean, Stan Musial goes kind of overlooked sometimes compared to some of the Yankees and stuff.
He's definitely more obscure than like a George Brett or a Rod Carew that I threw out there at the beginning.
Yeah, and the recency bias on a lot of those guys.
Yep.
Joe DiMaggio. It seems like some of the older guys get overlooked.
You got the dead ball guys. I'm not as good with dead ball in terms of if they played for another team at the end or something, you know, the Honus Wagners and Ty Cobbs.
Yeah, but this is just Hall of Fame. We don't even have to deal with the team at this point.
Oh, okay.
We screwed up on that one. So it's just 300 career average Hall of Fame. So there's a lot of answers, but the Earl Combs type answers are the good ones, but we got him. So, and like I said, it's crazy the guys that didn't do it.
Right.
I do know Clemente did.
Yeah, that's probably a good choice.
That might be a decent answer on this. I know he was over 300 for sure. And of course, Hall of Fame. Let's just put him in there.
That works.
We could think all day and come up with better answers, but
I already blew it with Killebrew anyway.
Yeah, we'll blame you on that one. 2%. That's great.
Oh, sweet. All right.
For a guy that high profile, that's as good as you can hope there. Then Hall of Fame 300 home runs. There's a whole bunch of answers for that one. And that's that may be where Bagwell works out pretty good.
Yeah, honestly, you're almost back to our previous list. What we should have gone with, Bagwell or Stargell, one of those guys.
Something like that.
Bagwell would be a good one.
Yeah, let's put it. He seems to be a decent answer on here sometimes. Not Bill Bagwell. I got to make sure. Whoever that is. Oh, yeah, 0.8%.
Whoa.
So if we hadn't missed, we'd be rocking and rolling pretty good here. So now we just got the 300 average career, less than 3 ERA career, and 300 home run career, all born in America. That's the last three. And a bunch of answers there, obviously.
300 average, you got like DiMaggio.
Yeah. He's usually a pretty good answer.
I wonder if Dom DiMaggio had a 300 average. He was actually really good.
He was good.
I don't know enough to be confident on that one. That'd be a shooting for the fences answer.
Yeah, I think Stan or Joe D are pretty safe. Joe D ends up being a pretty good answer on some of these. Let's try it.
Yeah.
Because you can't go Ty Cobb or something. People know about that stuff. Or Joe D 2%. I'll take it.
Sweet.
So 300 homers, born in America. There's a whole lot of that. You know what we should do on that is put Killebrew.
Right, just to redeem ourselves there. Yep.
We wanted him on here, so we need to have him on here. 1%.
Wow.
So he goes overlooked a lot.
That's crazy. Yeah, I would have thought higher than that.
I know. So the last square, other than the one we missed, is less than 3 RA, which is tough. Born in America. Palmer and Carlton.
Yeah, Carlton was gonna be the first name out of my mouth.
He had to have been, right?
Yeah, or Bob Gibson.
Gibson.
Yeah, under 3 career ERA is no joke.
It's people always fade at the end and it goes over.
Right.
Even Nolan, you know. But it's just Maddox. I think Glavine was over 3.
Old school, like dead ball era, like Christy Mathewson. Or
yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know where all these people's ERAs were, but he was dominant. So Walter Johnson.
Right. Yeah. There's another one. We both said Carlton early on. Maybe we go with.
Let's try that.
Yeah.
Let's go with Carlton. We already missed one. What?
He might be over 3 for all I know, but he stuck around a while, but.
Yes, he was over 3, so we should have gone with the other one. So we missed 2. So we end up with a 211 score, and 200 of that is misses. So we only had 11 combined with everything else.
Wow.
So yeah, this would have been a real easy one to Immaculate, but trying to come up with good answers. We definitely pulled a Keith here. This is what he does.
Go big or go home.
Go big or go home, and you end up going home. So you guys out there can demolish us, especially if you take your time. That would be real easy to beat. All you got to do is go Immaculate with the worst answers possible, and you'll still win. I'm
just happy I could upkeep my tradition here of bombing Immaculate Grid on BALLCARD banter. So 2 in a row.
Hey, yeah, it's always tough balance between just getting the darn thing Immaculate or trying to come up with that answer that's really good. But oh man, all right. So the last 5, we got our appreciation 5, just 5 random cards from our collection that we pull out and appreciate, because it's not always about new pickups and that kind of thing. You got to appreciate what you have in your collection. So we find some obscure stuff. It could be meaningful, it could be cool, it could be expensive, it could be cheap, whatever. But why don't you lead us off with your first one of the 5?
Yeah, I don't think any of mine are expensive this week. But
Yeah.
this one, and again, didn't know you were going to ask me about, best hobby memory or anything. But when I would sit around that kitchen table with my brothers opening packs, the first set that I've got into that really kind of ignited my love of baseball cards. I've talked about it many times. I've got like an uncut sheet, up on the wall here behind me, but 1990 tops. So I've just got my latest addition to my archive signature series project. So I've been working on this for years now. Every year when the new checklist comes out, and I just start browsing eBay and setting save searches and see what I can come up with. And I actually found this Ken Griffey Sr. on ComC of all places. Just got it in my last ComC shipment, and always just thought it was really cool that he and his son had a card in the 1990 top set. Each had a card, and of course Griffey Jr. It's his rookie cup card. So really cool. That was like one of my favorite cards of my childhood. And to get his old man on the same checklist, like that must have been so awesome for them to be able to. I don't know if they ever did this, but I just imagine them like sitting down, opening packs and pulling each other's cards out of the same set. Just really cool story of baseball talent being passed down through generations, and a project and a set that is really nostalgic for me. I'm up to over 50 of these archive signatures, 1990 tops autos now after years of pursuing them. So.
Man, so over 50 of those now. Yeah, that was an amazing thing, playing on the same team later, and then, hit back-to-back homers, and, Grip Junior stealing the catch from his dad, all this stuff. And he grounded him for that at home. Just great stories. So that's super awesome that you picked that up. So you've got 50 of those. You've completed your Franken set. How many do you need for the 90 tops?
I think I'm at like 725 out of 792, so I'm getting there. Like about 60 some odd cards to go at this point. So
man,
yeah, we'll see.
The impossible task is looking like it may be possible, but of course, since you've got so many, it makes all the rest of them a lot harder to.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a save search, a separate eBay save search for every one of the cards I'm missing, and like they don't hit for years on end, if ever. So I joke around that when 2039 Topps Heritage comes along and they do the 1990 set, maybe there'll be some box toppers in there and I can knock it out, 12 or 13, 14 years from now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hopefully we'll have some good luck when this 2025 Advent calendar buyback stuff starts hitting. We need to get in on some of that action. Hopefully there's some bangers in there. I got to get my hands on some of that
That
stuff.
program did help my 1990 set last year, so fingers crossed we get the same thing here around the holiday season.
Yeah. This is going to be an exciting thing for sure. My first one. Now, I still haven't found my perfect copy of 1963 Topps number 3, and you have, but that was like my favorite vintage card as a kid. I just was blown away with the 5, Hall of Fame type of guys and everything on one card. Even though I still like the floating heads. I know some people hate that stuff, but
same.
It's just that card blew me away as a kid that it existed. I remember my dad loving the Manager's Dream, and then that card, I just like, Dad, there's 5 Hall of Famers on here. This all the greats, I owned a copy at some point, but of course it would have been a beat up. There wasn't any grading. It just wasn't even in my mind probably
Right.
back then. But this is a modern card in the same kind of vein with some of my favorite guys. So this is 2001 Upper Deck Vintage. Now, how many people have heard of that thing? But this would have been the 2000 home run leaders. So you got Sosa at 50, Bonds at 49, Bagwell at 47, Vlad Sr. at 44, tied with my guy Richard Hidalgo at 44. So
Nice.
that card there is awesome. So you got my guy Sammy in the middle. You got Bagwell. You got Bonds. You got my guy Hidalgo in that one year that we just talked about in the other banter with Hugo when he hit the 44. So like my least favorite guy is a Hall of Famer in Guerrero. So it's just all kinds of awesome 1/1 card. So
if I'm Richard Hidalgo, I'm putting that card on my refrigerator.
Exactly. And you got Sammy in the middle. Yeah, just talk about a cheap card that just makes me smile. Of course, I love that era of watching baseball. But yeah, that was the first year we were in the new stadium. Hidalgo went crazy, and all these other guys are big time favorites of mine. So super, super cool card that I don't think many people would even know about.
And once again, no shine on this one, but you got to applaud Upper Deck again for the job done there, the throwback.
The throwback was so good. Yeah, I absolutely love it.
All right, my next one, you talked about the buyback Frankenset, and I just recently completed it. Did a video showing the binder, all 792 pockets, filled up. But the great thing about it, like I talked about in that video, is it's very much a living set. So even though it's complete for the first time, I'm going to continue to work away and improve it over time. And I have another card that I just got in my recent COM-C shipment that's going to go right into the binder, and it's the 1972 Topps Gaylord Perry.
Wow.
Somebody who we could have chosen for one or two of our Immaculate Grid answers.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But this card is fantastic. This was $5 on COM-C. It's a Heritage box topper buyback. Originally a 1972 issue, the psychedelic tombstone design there. And of course, he was just an awesome personality, like spitballer and scuffing the ball, doing anything he could to get outs. Exactly. And I didn't even realize this when I bought the card until I looked it up afterwards. But it's extra significant because I like collecting big seasons on cardboard. And it turns out 1972 was his first Cy Young Award. He won like 24 games that year.
Nice.
He had an ERA below 2 in 1972. And ended up winning the Cy Young. And then later in the decade, he would win a Cy Young in the National League. And he became the first pitcher to win one in both leagues. So once I learned that, it made this card even cooler, and it's going right into the album after this video in slot 285. So just an example of that project, continuing to get better as time goes by.
Yeah, complete but never finished. So
exactly.
But it goes perfect with your big season type of collecting that you do. So
couldn't believe it.
72 is already the most 70s set ever, but those psychedelic colors that are on that one just take it to a whole nother level. The neon green and pink and everything. No,
I picked it up just because it was a Hall of Famer, which you don't see that often, and it was like $5. But when I was researching for this episode and I found out he won the Cy Young, I was like, it just got 100 times cooler in my mind. So
yeah, that was back when if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying kind of thing.
That's
it. Whole different era back then. Oh, that's awesome.
He was certainly trying.
Yeah, exactly. Here we got a Broder card back from the 80s. And this one isn't a photo taken by Rob Broder. It's taken by Scott Cunningham. But I got to give Keith credit on this one again. He found this thing. It is super awesome. But that's the back. So it looks just like the regular Broder cards, but it's a different photographer on this one. But this is like the greatest Ricky photo ever, ever. And I didn't know about this card, or at least I don't ever remember seeing it. But Yankees, of course, if you're talking about Keith, it's a Yankee card. But check this thing out, man.
Oh,
this has got to be the best cheap card on the planet.
That is fantastic.
Ricky is about to take off. It's obviously a posed shot, spring training or whatever, but got the sky in the background. It's just perfect, man. It's just that's just amazing. So awesome. What a shot.
If you tossed the Stadium Club logo on that, you could convince me that was a Stadium Club card all day long. Yep.
Exactly. Put a little gloss on there, a little gold embossing. But yeah, it is just a killer shot. I did not have this card. I immediately went on and bought it. It's super cheap. But that card is a recent pickup because of Keith. But that thing is just so awesome. I love me and images, but that one's just like, oh man, I didn't even know about him.
These are like my favorite kind of cards because it just goes to show like it could be a $1 card or a $5 card and just be every bit as meaningful as the bigger cards that everybody talks about all the time. So
exactly.
So my next two actually kind of remind me of recent videos that you and I have done, or they kind of just triggered in my mind based on recent videos that we've done. So I was looking through my boxes trying to pick out my 5 cards after work today, and I stumbled across this, and I was like, I have to choose this because you did a video like very recently with your 73 Topps Reggie Jackson, and then that awesome Stadium Club rainbow foil board to go with it, where he's in the throwing motion. And I had forgotten that I picked this up, but it turns out I have a rainbow foil board Reggie with a throwing motion on it that's different than the one you showed.
Oh, yes.
So this is the 2024 Stadium Club rainbow foil board, numbered to 25 as they always are. And just a cool shot of Reggie in those like really recognizable mid-70s crazy A's uniforms with the yellow and green stirrups. pre-game warm-ups, I'm guessing, in front of the crowd there. And
Front of the, yeah, right by the sideline. That's awesome, man.
yeah, and when I saw this in the box, I was like, I have to choose this one. I love that video that you did recently with that beautiful copy of your 73 and then pairing the rainbow foil board with it. So interesting that Stadium Club has produced more than one Reggie throwing card in its time here. So
that's a good that's a good point, man. That is a good point. That's a rare thing, and they did it twice. But yeah, I hadn't even thought about that card. But no, thanks for saying that. That was just a pairing that I thought I had to have. But to find that 173 centered like that was just, it blew me away. I'm like, I got to have it, and I got to have the pair for it.
To me, that's one of the awesome things about collecting multiple eras. Like I know you and I both do. Like there's just something really cool about being able to pair like an old card and a new card and have them side by side in a way that makes sense or with a theme that fits. So really dug that episode.
Yeah, and of course I did the same kind of thing with the Maris episode, but it's just, to me, sometimes it just ties in perfect, and you have all of those cards and more. I still have a few holes to fill there, but I really wanted to complete that little vignette there, and it worked out perfect. But it took me I admit it, when it comes to vintage, I'm super picky, and yeah, to find that 60 and then the 61 that fit my eye is not easy. So it took a long time, but I really am happy with both those copies. Just
yeah, the copies you've been picking up have been worth the wait for sure.
yes, they look like nines to me. Here's a cool one that it doesn't get seen a whole lot, I don't think, but 1993 Upper Deck Gallery Heroes. This is the Nolan Ryan, and it's him warming up, which isn't normally done. Here's the back. You kind of got more of a classic shot on the back, but the front has a picture of him, but then it has a hologram.
Nice.
So, but the hologram there, you can pick it up right there.
Yep.
So this is not in a game because he's doing his warm up with the glove up. So he's signaling fastball or curve or whatever with his glove, and then just warming up throwing. You don't see that a whole lot. So you still got the high leg kick, but it's not an in-game pitch.
Man.
So just kind of cool. You got the really nice photo here of him warming up, and then that hologram with the shot that you don't see on a whole lot of cards. But just super cool. Once again, I didn't even think about it, but Upper Deck, I mean,
right?
They just did some cool stuff. But that hologram was really nice.
I don't understand why. Maybe it's production costs, or they've aged and people don't think they'd be as cool anymore or something. But I don't understand why we don't see holograms really used at all anymore. Like they were so amazing back in the day, and they look fantastic. But
yeah, any kind of 3D, even those Topps 3D, like you have, any of that kind of stuff, I think is fantastic. It's just so cool. But yeah, they don't do it a lot anymore. I mean, I used to eat Denny's, grand slam meals all the time just to get those packs, and just those kind of things are awesome to me. But that is a card that you don't see a whole lot, and you don't see that warm up photo of Nolan a whole lot. So just thought I would show that one.
Super cool. All right, so this is a really off the beaten path card, and it's only somewhat a baseball card, but it's really fitting. I did a video recently talking about, I've been back in since 2007, like we talked about. And it's really been like almost two different eras of collecting for me. There was like 2007 through 2019, and then there was COVID and everything that's come after that. And it's been a crazy time in the hobby for the last 5 or 6 years. So this card really represents that in a baseball card. And it's the Topps Now Anthony Fauci card that came out in COVID. So this is a 2020 card that was released right in the middle of COVID when they were playing games without fans. And of course, Fauci, whatever your opinion of the man is, he was all over the media at the time, leading the response to the pandemic. And he's in a mask here, throwing out the first pitch. And I just think, given what COVID did in the pandemic to our hobby specifically, this is kind of a cool card when you think about that. This sort of just, to me, when I look at this card, it signifies the major change that took place in the hobby. And it's been a completely different landscape for the last 5 or 6 years than it was from my time before that. But both good. There's pros and cons to each. I still love the hobby, but this is a card that every time I think of it just reminds me of that crazy year that our hobby just went off the charts, and everybody started dragging their baseball cards out of the closet and trying to find out what was valuable and what wasn't. And probably half the people that have channels on YouTube now may not even be in the hobby if it wasn't for the boredom of everybody sitting around at home during COVID and going back through their cards. So For better or worse, it definitely grew our hobby substantially and changed it in many ways. And so I think this is a really fitting card for that reason.
Yeah, it definitely was a seismic shift. And once again, I never can predict anything in life. I mean, I thought it was all going to crash and burn. Like people needed food and jobs. They didn't need,
Right.
baseball cards. And then the prices just went crazy on everything. I was like, what is happening here? It still makes no sense to me, but that is when it started and it was just nuts. Ah, all right. You got one more, I got two more, right?
Yep.
Okay. Second to last one. I love this card. This is just an awesome shine. I think this is 98 Topps Chrome, but just one of the coolest cards ever made. I mean, Jose Guillen rookie cup card. Normally, you'd wonder why in the world anyone would want that until you see it, and then you know why you would want it. But that card is so insane. Doing the Roberto Clemente pose in front of the Clemente statue outside of the stadium. And this card is impossible to find. You can find all the regular ones, but finding the chrome refractor is is like finding a super fractor now. I don't know. Some of this stuff from the 90s is just dried up.
Yeah, they didn't print it in anywhere near the quantities they do today. And especially you've got it in refractor format. I mean, that's crazy.
The refractor is impossible. This one, that 96 Ripken with the 2131, and then there's that one diving one of Vladimir Sr. You got to pay like $250 for if you find that kind of stuff. It's just because you can't find it, and it's all about the image on those cards.
And
Luckily,
yeah,
I did end up with that 99 Ryan, the high leg kick refractor. Finally got that one in a PSA 9, which is impossible, but not cheap, but totally worth it. But this card here, that's an all-time image.
and their quality control on those early Topps Chrome sets wasn't great either. And that actually looks like a centered copy too, which is most of them, when you do find them, they're like wildly miscut or off
They're
centered.
so off, and that's why I spent years not buying the Ryan from 99, waiting for the 9 that was perfect, because they're all just cut so bad. This one's a little off up and down, but as you know, we can tolerate that a little more than the side to side. The Ripken, I just had to. I mean, that thing may be 90-10 or 85-15, but it's the only one. I'll never find another one, so I bit on that thing. But some of these kind of things you're just going to have one shot at, or one shot every few years maybe. And but that image is just all time. It's just crazy.
Great job
Crazy
by
awesome.
Topps on that one. Yep.
Crazy awesome baseball card.
All right, so my last one, I'm going to go like ultra modern here. I've been loving, the current year playoffs, like we talked about. It's kind of the theme of the episode. So I wanted to show a Shohei Ohtani card because I've been collecting him, really focusing on him this year. He's just doing things that we've never seen in the game, back to back. First guy with 50 home runs and 50 steals in a season. And then the very next year, first guy with 50 home runs and 50 strikeouts in a season. He hit 2 home runs in the wild card round and then got the win in game 1 of the NLDS a couple nights ago. So he's breaking the game of baseball, almost like Barry Bonds did, 25 years ago. But this is like, as far as his rookie cards go, I think this is a sneaky awesome card, and it's not expensive at all. It's like one of his cheapest rookie cards. It's from the 2018 Gold Label set. Now, Fanatics has stupidly killed off this brand. They don't make Gold Label anymore.
I know.
But to me, the obvious draw here, this is a 2018 card. It's got the rookie card, symbol lower left there. But I love that this has him doing both of the things that he's known for on one card. Like that is so cool. The whole concept behind Gold Label was he would get dual images. So you might have a player at bat and then a player running the bases, or 2 batting images. But for Ohtani, and for this card in particular, like it's just so cool on a rookie card to have him batting in the background, pitching in the foreground. I think it makes it really special. Ironically, the way this set worked, there was 3 different classes of base card. So this is like a class 1, which is the most common. And then class 2 would be a little more scarce, and class 3 would be the most rare. So this is the cheapest of the 3, but it's the only one of the 3 that shows him hitting and pitching. So I actually think, even though it's the most readily available, it's really the coolest of the 3. And you can get this card, despite his current ridiculous hobby prices, even in like a PSA 9, this is only maybe around $100. And if you want an ungraded copy, I'm sure you could find one for $40 or something like that. So yeah, if you wanted to, get in on some Otani and get a card of a really special player who's doing things that we've never seen before, but not break the bank. I think this is a really cool way to go about it. So decided to make that my last selection for today.
And that is a PSA 9, right?
This is a PSA 9, yeah. And I looked before the episode. You can still get these in a PSA 9 for like $100 or barely over, which, given what all of his other cards are going for, is definitely a bargain. So,
they're going for some insane money.
yep.
And I mean, non-rookie cards. I mean, just
anything, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that's cool. You don't have to have the image variation or anything. You can just literally have both of them on one card.
That's it.
That makes a whole lot of sense. I love that. That's my kind of collecting right there. All right, one more for me. 1997 Flair Showcase. This is a Jeff Bagwell, but this is one of the coolest inserts that has ever been made, called Diamond Cuts. In that particular year, this was just an awesome card. It's just insane, the die cutting and the hollow foil that they did this with. Just it's crazy. But that right there, it's just it's just a nuts card. So you got diamond cuts, you got the diamond at the top and the baseball diamond at the bottom. So it's dual diamonds. It's perfect. It's just beautiful card. The camera probably doesn't even do it justice, but you can see the shine there. But yeah, just a cool image, really cool font. The way they did this with the name and everything across the middle, the dual diamonds. And these were like an impossible pull. Once again, not serial numbered, but just like, you weren't pulling these every other pack. So real tough. And they're obviously, with all of this crazy die cutting, to find them nice and not dinged up on corners here and there is real tough. But
that is amazing. The best thing about the 90s, we both collected in the 90s, it was such an era of like innovation. And I feel like that card has like all the innovation from the 90s jammed on one piece of cardboard.
It's got it all. But to kind of have a reflecting diamond top and bottom with the baseball diamond and a regular stone diamond, I just think it's so amazing. You don't see stuff like this. But yeah, it has everything all in one package right there.
Wonderful image cool. Too. You can tell he just crushed one of those home runs that made us pick him for Immaculate Grid tonight.
Exactly. He just crushed one. It's just a great card. I think I have the Ripken of this somewhere. I think it may be graded, but I think I only have 2 of these. But that is just, what a beautiful card. Just amazing stuff from the 90s. That is it. So that's all of our 5 of our giving credit to some October greats and our 5 randoms. We did the grid, even though we tried to go with low score instead of getting Immaculate. We paid for it. So that's the way it goes. That's the risk reward with Immaculate Grid. We got the shout outs. Definitely go sub up those guys. Hughes over at ET Card Collector, and then you had
Jason over at Contrarian Cards.
Contrarian Cards. So go sub up those guys. Anything else that you want to say before we end this thing?
No, just I hope you and everybody watching this enjoys the rest of the postseason. It's going to be exciting to see, what memories or moments are going to be made this year that we'll be collecting on cardboard in the future. So I love the tie between October baseball and baseball card collecting. Great idea for the episode.
Well, thanks. It worked out really well. But yeah, it's an exciting time of the year for all of us baseball fans. And now that you and me can relax, and the other thing is, I don't have to spend $1 million on playoff tickets. I mean, the last 10 years, if I just imagine the Grail cards I could have bought instead of.
Can't replace those moments though. Those are priceless.
No, I got some good ones with some good friends. So that is it, guys. Ball card banner number 8 in the books. We'll try to have a guest on next time. We shall see. But you guys take care. Thank you for watching. See you later, Shane.
Take care, buddy.
Thank you, bud.